Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego and the O's. I, of course, am Diego. And we're going to talk some more right now about And Just Like Crap, the 2025 version of Sex in the City. Just think about that for a minute. I know people who watch my videos, they tell me, what the hell are you complaining about? Uh, you know, it's just it's just so the characters don't act the way you want them to. What's the big deal? They're still women, they're still this and that. They're still worthy of respect, all that kind of, and that's all fine. Everyone has their criticisms, that's fine. But do you really want to see a show about women in their 60s having sex? I mean, I know granny porn is a thing, okay, for like a niche of guys out there, but this isn't granny porn, okay. uh, uh, this is something else, okay? And do people really want to see that? It's like reading a romance novel. Okay, imagine reading like the best romance novel you've ever read in your entire life, and then when the movie comes out, all the main characters are ugly. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? Okay, doesn't that kind of ruin the fantasy? You know what I mean? I mean, can you imagine like say even for like a guy movie, can you imagine like a superhero movie, like an Avengers superhero movie, where all the men have dad bods, but yet they're still running around in tights and doing martial arts and backflips, but yet they all have like beer bellies and stuff, and balding and you know what I mean? And nobody wants to watch that. Okay, it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, isn't it? Okay, and that's the reason that they'll never make a superhero movie with a bunch of middle-aged, balding, fat, unattractive men. That's the reason it won't ever happen. Okay, because it ruins the fantasy. That's the point. Okay, men, we have fantasies about being heroes, about saving the world. About getting a girl, defeating the evil. Okay, usually in physical confrontations. These are fantasies that men have. Okay, so if you show, Uncle Uncle Theo that you see once a year at the family reunion, the guy that's usually grilling the burgers, you see him in a tight fitting Captain America suit. It's going to be pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, it's going to be like, okay, this is is this like a comedy episode of a sitcom or something? It's not. It wouldn't be taken seriously. It wouldn't be taken seriously. But this show expects us to take these women in their 60s, their dating lives, seriously. Okay, like they're in their 30s again. Okay, even back then, even back when Sex in the City came out in 1997, I think it was. Okay, these women were in their 30s and 40s. Okay, and back then, it was groundbreaking. Whoa, they're how old? And they're all single and no kids and not married, and they're just gonna have as much sex as they want while they work their high-paying careers. What up? It was like that. Okay, it was like a beacon for all these women that just graduated college and were living in big cities. This is what you need to do. You need to be like these when these are the cool girls. You need to act like them, dress like them, and then women did. Why? Because I think that women have well, it's true, but I'm just going to say I think for benefit of the doubt that women have a herd mentality. What does that mean? Okay, it's a little bit different from what guys have. Okay, a herd mentality means that if there is one woman, just one, that's all it takes, one woman that other women look up to, that other women respect, that other women want to be like, a role model, an icon. If that one woman wants something or says that she loves something, she doesn't have to really like it. She just has to say she like it. Really wants something, okay, or a person or whatever, okay, then all the other women that look up to her are going to want the same thing. Okay, and it's true. It's true. I've seen it happen. We've all seen it. Okay, like I remember, like in high school. Okay, there's this one guy who's just unattractive. Okay, women, boys make fun of him, girls, make fun of him, or they ignore him, whatever. And then one girl, like a hot, popular girl, like a cheerleader or something, all of a sudden she goes up to him, and starts talking to him, starts sitting with him at lunch. Okay, and starts walking with him after school. Okay, right? And the next thing you know, all the hot girls are hanging out with this guy now. All the hot girls are talking about how hot he is and how cute he is. Even though there's nothing changed about him. Physically, he looks the same. Okay, same clothes, same everything. Okay, but now all of a sudden he's popular. He's popular because one woman, one girl made that happen. Okay, his sexual market value went from nothing to way up here. Now all the hot girls. Okay, now your girlfriend is considering cheating on you with this guy. Okay, and she'll probably do it too. You see what I mean? This is what happens. This is what happens in real life. If one woman that they respect is doing it, then they all got to do it. Okay, because no matter how much, this show spouts feminism, okay, and being your own, okay, being on your own, a boss, successful boss bitch and all that shit, you're in charge of your own life, you're in charge of your own sexuality, you're gonna fuck as many guys as you want, and no one is gonna judge you for it, no one has a right to judge you for it, you're a self-made woman, you're strong, you're independent, you're all that kind of bullshit. Despite all of that, okay, the bottom line is women are gonna do what other women, what popular women do, what women they respect do. Okay, and that includes dating. Why do you think, have you ever noticed this? I mean, I remember growing up, we had a thing called TV Guide, and there's entertainment. People used to read magazines back in the day, all right? And magazines were a good indicator of who was hot at the moment. Okay, like, all of a sudden you're at the CVS or something, and all of a sudden there's a new magazine there, and you see some guy there. Okay, some guy all hot or something, right? And I'm thinking to myself, who the fuck is this guy? I have no idea who he is. I have never seen him before. I'm guessing he's on a TV show or something, but I don't watch that show. I have no freaking idea who this guy is. I don't care. So I don't think about it, right? But then, you're out with some friends and there's some girls talking about that guy. Oh my God, isn't he so hot? Oh my God. I just want to, and I don't look like, who the hell are you talking? Oh, that guy? Like, what's so special about him? Like, what the, well, and then you find out he's like some love interest on a TV show that only women watch. Okay, and next thing you know, you're driving down the highway and there's a big billboard for some stupid movie. For some stupid movie, and I guess he's in it or something, okay? And now he's on all the magazines. Now all of a sudden you turn on the TV and there he is, on everything, okay? He's being interviewed by everybody. He's going to these parties and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck is it? Who the fuck is this guy? I don't give two shits about him. What is so special about this guy? There's nothing about him that I like. There's nothing about him that says I want to be like him. There's nothing about him, okay? That said, I mean, I want to have his money, and I want to be able to have his sex with the same type of women that he has sex with. But other than that, I don't want to look like him. I don't want to dress like him. I don't want to sound like him. Nothing, okay? Your typical guy would look at this guy going, he's nothing. What the fuck? But the women are going crazy over him, okay? And then, like, give it a few months or something, and they're not even thinking about him anymore. Now they're on to some other guy, okay? What the hell happened, okay? Now girls are like, oh yeah, he's all right, but he ain't all that. And I was like, well, that's not what you were saying 6 months ago. 6 months ago, okay, you had a picture of him on your freaking vibrator, okay? This is it. This is it, okay? This is the herd mentality. If one woman does it, then they all got to do it. You see what I mean? And that's something unique to women. You're not going to really see that with men. Okay, yes, there's plenty of men that are attracted to the same woman, okay? But that happens organically, okay? Nobody needs to tell me, okay? When I see a hot woman, I don't need a guy, okay, a guy that I respect, that I look up to tell me that woman's hot in order for me to like that woman. You see what I mean? If I see a hot woman, I see a hot woman. And I don't give two shits what my friends think. If she's hot, she's hot. Okay? Because I have good taste, most of my friends will agree with me. All right? But it's true. Okay? If a guy thinks a woman's hot, she's hot. That's it. I remember when I was watching, I saw this movie called, I think it was called Out for Justice or something. I don't remember, but it was in the 90s. I was in the Marines. So obviously I was starved for sex. I mean, I was living with like 99% men everywhere. Okay, so we went to the base theater and we saw this movie. I can't remember the name of it. I know it was it was about racism. It was a John Grisham movie. Had Sandra Bullock, Matthew McConaughey. That's like the first movie he did that made him famous. He was a star. And Samuel Jackson, Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, Ashley Judd, Sandra Bullock, and Matthew McConaughey. I think it was called Out for Justice or I don't remember the name. I'm sure some of you have seen the movie. You know the movie I'm talking about. Anyway, I saw that movie, okay? And I remember the actress that played Matthew McConaughey's wife in that movie was Ashley Judd. And even though Sandra Bullock was the main lead, okay, she was like the guy that all the guys were going goo-goo for when she showed up on screen, because this was a bunch of Marines in the theater with me, right? When Ashley Judd showed up, and she was just a minor character, like I said, she was just this minor side character. When Ashley Judd showed up, I fell in love. I was like, oh my God. Okay, and it had nothing to do with my friends telling me, hey, she's hot, don't you think so? Shouldn't you like her too? It had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with me just looking at her and like trying to find things that were attractive about her because my friends all found her attractive. No. Once she came on the screen, I was just like, oh. Like that was like, I was fucking in love. I was in love. Okay. Now obviously today in 2025, we know that freaking Ashley Judd is a mental case. Okay. She's a weirdo. Okay. She was a casting couch, you know, she was in the casting couch Olympics and all that kind of stuff. You know, she has a terrible voice. Her voice is horrible. Okay. She's hit the wall. She looks like crap now. All right. She's still crazy. Okay. And yes, I feel bad that her mom, you know, ended herself and all that. I feel bad about that. But this has nothing to do with her looks or attractability. Okay. But she's a psycho. Okay. Big time on drugs. Okay. You know, and now she's washed up. Okay, she's washed up, and she lost her mind somewhere along the way. Okay, so I don't feel the same way about her today that I did back then. But when I first saw her, I just knew this woman was gorgeous. Totally my type, totally everything. Okay, and I had a huge hot. I mean, she was in my top 5 for many years. Ashley Judd was, okay? And and she was like I was like faux in love with her, okay? But nobody pressured me into thinking that way. I just did, okay? And that's the way men are. We see it, we do, okay? We don't go along with we don't wait to see what the cool guys say about her before we decide whether or not to like her or not. But women do. Women do, okay? And advertising agencies know this. Marketing people know this. Publicists all understand this. That's why they do this. The thing I told you with the guy on the magazine, this is what they do to every single guy, okay? Every single guy. The Hollywood backs up this guy. They try to make this guy a thing. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't, okay? And they try to do this to women too. And most of the time it doesn't work. Every once in a while you'll get a Margot Robbie or something, okay? But for the most part, you're not, okay? Yeah, for the most part, you're not, okay? They'll push this person on you. You'll see this person everywhere, okay? And if all 3 of their movies flop, they're back to like being on sitcoms or being guest stars on some streaming show or some crap like that, okay? It never happened, all right? And that's the truth, okay? And women are like that. That's the way, not the way men are. I explained to you how men are. Women are like that, okay? If it's cool to like that guy, then they'll like him. Has almost rarely has anything to do with their looks. Okay, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. Okay, that you women look to each other to find out who you find attractive. That's pretty disgusting, don't you think? Don't you think it is? Men, we don't do that. All right, let's actually talk about the show here. Okay. So what do you call it? When we left off last time, Miranda made her little C-U-N-T, her cunt speech or whatever, which became a meme. Her son Brady sent it to her on her phone. So now she's embarrassed about it, blah, blah, blah. You know, he told her, don't worry about it. You know, some celebrity's going to say something stupid and then they're all going to forget about who you are. Okay? But that's not going to give Miranda comfort because this show is all about Miranda's feelings. Okay, the show is designed to make you feel sorry for Miranda, to have empathy with her, you know, to root for her, like Bridget Jones, you know, like the nerdy girl trying to get the guy to like her, you know, like that. That's what the show's trying to do. Okay, they're trying to get you to root for Miranda. Okay, so she makes a fool of herself. She makes these very these very, what do you call it, these insecure flirting techniques that she uses. You know, clearly she's stressed out about this. Okay, she's trying to get this British girl who's just as ugly as she is, okay, to like her and go out with her, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, and it's just like, you know, she makes these dumb flirty mistakes and stuff. We're supposed to feel sorry for her. Nobody feels sorry for you, Miranda. Nobody feels sorry for you. You blew up your marriage. Okay, you broke your husband's heart, and we liked him. We knew this wasn't some just a guy that showed up for 1 or 2 episodes and then he disappeared. This wasn't one of those guys. This was Steve. Okay, this was Steve. All right, and Steve had been on the show for many years. Okay, as Miranda's love interest. Okay, he married her. They went through a lot of ups and downs. Blah blah blah. They had a kid together. All that stuff happened. Okay, the audience, the female audience, okay, knows damn well who Steve is, and they know he's a good guy. Okay, and you fucked him over. Okay, there's a reason that whenever, like it's always okay in the movies to cheat on your husband when your husband is like a jerk or something like that. It's always okay to do it when that happens. All right, but that was not the case here. Steve did not deserve this. Okay, and Miranda just basically broke his heart, blew up their marriage, got rid of the house that he helped work on. Yeah, she paid for it, but he like designed like the bookshelf, the fireplace, the kitchen. He did all that stuff. Okay, and they still got rid of the house, destroyed her family. Okay, because she decided she wanted to date ugly lesbians. Okay, and so no, there's no coming back from that, Miranda. There's no coming back from that. No. Okay, so I don't really give two shits whether or not this girl likes you or doesn't like you. Okay, in real life, nobody fucking likes you. Okay, and that's at least from the guy's point of view. That's why you had to be a lesbian, because no guy will go out with you. No guy will touch you, and that's the truth. Okay, you represent everything that men hate in women. Everything. Okay, everything that men hate in women is represented by Cynthia Nixon and by Miranda Dobbs. Always has been, to be honest with you. Okay, I never liked her character. Her character was always this pessimistic, piece of shit, man-hating woman. Okay, insufferable woman. Okay, and I never liked her, and she fucking talks with food in her mouth. So no, I don't really care about Miranda's dating life. So moving right along, Carrie and Aiden's son Wyatt. Wyatt wants to kill zombies, so I guess they go into civilization because they're out in the woods somewhere. Okay, I guess where there's a mall or something. And they're doing VR. They're doing virtual reality video gaming. Okay, that's where you wear the consoles, with the laser guns and all that stuff. And they're killing zombies. I guess they're having a good time or something. This is Carrie's attempt to bond with Aiden's children. Okay, because she's never met them before until now, and she wants them to like her. Because, despite the fact that she does not live with them, and that she still lives in New York, and that her and their dad are not going to get together officially for another 5 years. This is a stupid plot line. Anyway, so she's there. She's trying to bond with his kids because she never met them before. All right. And while they're doing this thing, okay, they got the things on, okay. Wyatt accidentally hits Carrie on the head with a laser gun, okay. And I'm guessing it was an accident. I don't know. I don't play those games. I don't know how easy it is to hit somebody with those. But he did. He hit her on the head, okay, and with his laser gun, okay, and she doesn't want to play anymore. That kind of like ruined the vibe for her. Okay, her head hurts right there where she got hit. And this reminded me of Mikhail Baryshnikov. Remember him on Sex and the City? Remember he played Alexander Petrovsky? He was the gay ballet dancer. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, he was the gay artist, okay, who was French, despite the fact that he's Russian in real life. Yeah. Anyway, remember that? Remember when Carrie was with him and living with him and going to move to France with him? Remember that? I remember the end, the final episode of Sex and the City proper, where he hit her. Remember that? Like, whoa, he laid the smackdown. Well, this was like that. Okay, once a character accidentally hits Carrie, okay, it's never treated like an accident. Okay, so of course Carrie now is like mad at this kid. I mean, she didn't like him before, but now, oh my God, you hit me. Now this is what the show does to get you on Carrie's side now, because you can go back and forth. Maybe Wyatt is just his ADHD acting up; he can't help himself, or maybe he's just a total piece of shit. And maybe Carrie is the victim, or maybe Carrie just doesn't want to understand or deal with a kid that has, ADHD, whatever. Okay, so we're going back and forth, but now it's official. Okay, Wyatt is a piece of shit. Why? Because he hit Carrie. Doesn't matter, it was an accident. He hit Carrie and it hurt. Okay, therefore he is evil. Okay, that's the rules of Sex and the City and this show. All right, so that's going on here. Okay, so now she doesn't want to play anymore. And Aiden tells her, hey, it was an accident, Carrie. It was an accident, okay? He's not a violent kid. Bullshit. He's not a violent kid, okay? And you don't have to make him feel bad. And, of course, Carrie's just like, huh? Like, Carrie, what the fuck do you think Aiden is going to do? Of course he's going to stick up for his son. He's going to stick up for his children. His children are more important to him than you are, okay? His children are his legacy, okay? He's been with them since they were born, okay? He's raising them. He named them. Okay, he knows everything about his children. Of course, they're his priority. Of course, he's going to love them before he loves you. Okay, what are you? You're an ex-girlfriend who fucked him over twice. Okay, and by fucking writer's convenience, he just happened to be single again. Just happened to be, available. Happened to, want to be with Carrie again. This is all crap. No man would do this. No man would get back with a girl that fucked him over twice like this. And I'm not talking about, hey, I caught you kissing the other guy at the high school prom. Nothing like that. I'm talking you fucked around on me after we bought a place together. Okay, and then I forgave you. Okay, and then you called off the engagement. Okay, after I got you the ring, after we set the date, after everything, you called it off. Okay, like what the fuck is this? And then you think a guy like that is gonna, I don't care how nice he is, you think a guy like that's just gonna like let that go? Oh, Carrie's better now because she's older and uglier now, so of course I have nothing to worry about this time. Third time's the charm, right? No, it's not. Only an idiot, okay? Only an idiot would go through all this. Only an idiot would agree to this stupid breakup that they're on right now, the 5-year breakup thing. This is dumb. Okay, it's not the way straight man, a rational man thinks. And Aiden's supposed to be those things because if it wasn't those things, Carrie would never have been attracted to him in the first place. He's supposed to be high value. Because Carrie only dates high value guys. But yet he displays nothing but low value personality traits. This is stupid. So the show's trying to make you think, how dare he pick his son over his girlfriend, his pseudo girlfriend. Of course he's going to do that. Of course he is. But Carrie wouldn't understand because Carrie's never had kids. She has no kids. Okay? She's never going to have kids. You see what I mean? I mean, this is ridiculous. Being a mom is not exactly a priority for the women on this show. It's not. Even with Charlotte, okay, other than she cooks every once in a while, she can pay someone to do that. She's more concerned with hanging out with her girlfriends, getting drunk, okay, being woke, okay, and working her 30 grand a year job. Like it's essential or something. Like she's going to divorce Harry if you don't let her do it. This is stupid. Okay, your kids are fucking old enough. They don't need you to wipe their fucking diapers anymore, to wipe their asses anymore. Okay, this is dumb. All right, anyway, moving right along. So she feels bad that Aiden said that. Don't make my son feel bad. Okay, now, so she's like, like that. All right. Anyway, so, and it's also bullshit. It's bullshit because Carrie would have said that, okay, if one of her friends were to hit Aiden, okay, if one of her friends, like Miranda or something, were just to slap Aiden, or Samantha would do it, would just to slap Aiden or something, whatever, she would have stuck up for them, not her boyfriend. And we all know goddamn well that's the truth, okay? So she's just being a hypocrite here, okay? If Charlotte or something were to hit Aiden with a baseball bat, okay, she would defend Charlotte to Aiden, okay? Get over it. You're supposed to be a man. Just take it and get over it, okay? She doesn't usually do that. You must have done something to piss her off. You see what I mean? That's exactly what would have happened. And we both know that's true, okay? So moving right along, we meet Harry's dad, okay, in this episode. His name is Morris Goldenblatt. He's played by the wonderful actor Harris Yulin. I've seen him all my life growing up. I have seen him popping up on TV shows and movies. He's a character actor, which means he's never the main character. He's always a supporting character. I remember him in Scarface. He was the corrupted Jewish cop, okay, that was taking money from the drug dealers, okay. I remember him in there's a movie called Stuart Smalley Saves His Family or some crap. It was this SNL spinoff. It made no money at all. And I remember Laura San Giacomo was in that. Okay. And I remember he played like the dad in that, like the evil dad in that movie. Stuart Smalley. That was an SNL reference. Okay. So there was that. I saw him in. He's been in a lot of things. Harris Yulin. Okay, you've seen him before, lots of TV shows and stuff. Okay, and something you probably didn't know is Harris Yulin recently passed away. Okay, he passed away 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I'm guessing this was the last thing he ever did, was playing this character. How's that for a legacy? Okay, Morris Goldenblatt. Okay, Harris Yulin, this was the last role he played. Okay, because like I said, he died 13 days ago. 13 days ago. All right. And you've seen him before in a lot of things. He's got that gravelly voice, whatever. Yeah, Harris Yulin. Rest in peace, Harris Yulin. Anyway, so he's very loud. He's very opinionated and stuff. Okay, now we know that Harry lost his mom when he was a kid, because they did talk about that in an episode of Sex and the City, because Charlotte, the biggest problem Charlotte had with her husband, Trey, was her mother-in-law, and so when she started dating Harry and Harry started talking about his mom, she was like, oh no, not again, how much he loved his mother. And then he was like, But unfortunately, she passed away, and then Charlotte was like, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, that's how they deal with it here. Okay, anyway, so that's going on here. He's loud and opinionated and stuff, but so is everyone else in the show. It doesn't matter. The only one who's not is Harry. Okay, so he criticizes Charlotte's jewelry because remember, Charlotte is not Jewish. Okay, she was a last Episcopalian. Okay, at least she was on Sex and the City, and then she converted to Judaism when she met Harry, because Harry is very, very Jewish. Okay, she converted. Okay, and then after her and Harry broke up, she still stayed Jewish. And then, of course, they got back together, okay? So, no, Charlotte's not really Jewish, okay? And that's what Morris points out, oh, my God, and my sister said she wasn't a real Jew, and now Charlotte's all like, Harry, you told me Rita loved me. Or some shit. Like, of course, she's going to take it out on Harry or her husband, okay? That kind of thing. And then Rock is there, the little Joseph Stalin, or Lenin, or what's his name, Lenin, herself, Rock, that bitch. Okay, she's the communist on the show, just so you know. She says everything that the producers, that the showrunners, that the writers, that the actors could say out loud, but they can't because they have to stick to a script, and they have to, conform to their characters. So she says all the things, okay, out loud, because and you can't say anything about it. Okay, why? Because she's just a teenage girl. Ooh. Okay, that means that she's above criticism. Okay, and she's also gay and transgender and all that kind of shit. So you're homophobic and transphobic if you criticize the character of Rose. All right, that's exactly what they're trying to do on the show here. Okay, but I'm going to criticize her. I don't give two fucking shits about her. All right, she's a piece of shit kid, and if she was my kid, I would have fucking whipped her ass off a long fucking time ago. Anyway, so that's going on here. More woke shit from Rock, okay, about sharing bananas. It's a communist thing. They've got a banana. She's on some website or something for the building that they live in. So when any of their neighbors need something, they post it on there. And if any of the neighbors, have it, they'll give it to them. It's like a communist thing, right? So some lady downstairs wants a banana for something, and they have one, and Harry's like, well, why don't she just go to the store and get her own bananas? He goes, well, wait, but we got a banana right here, Dad. It's called equity, okay? We have to share it because we have it. Therefore, we have a right to share it. We have a responsibility to share it. That kind of bullshit. The communist stuff, that they always do, socialism. Okay, and of course, Rock, of course, even though she's a girl, I think she was born. Well, when was that movie? 2008 is when she was born, because that was in Sex and the City Part 2 is when Rock was born. Okay, so let's do the math here. 2008, so that means that she would have been 20 years old. She'd be 20 years old in 2028. It's 2025, so that should make her 17, right? So she's 17 years old. Okay, so Harry's, Harry, of course, is frustrated like he always is. He has no authority or control over his family. He has no alpha male characteristics at all. He doesn't try to try to lead the family or anything like that. They lead him. They all tell him what to do. The kids tell Charlotte what to do, and then Charlotte tells Harry what to do. So he's responsible for everything, but he has no authority. He can't make any decisions. He can't tell anybody in that house what to do. Okay, he has no authority. Nobody respects him. Okay, not his wife, not his kids, nobody. Okay, so he's frustrated, but he's not mad about that. And a normal person, anyone with self-esteem, self-respect, would be upset that his family does not respect him. Okay, so like I said, he's not a real man. Okay, nobody on the show knows how to write real men because they're all gay or lesbian. All right, and so anyway, so why everyone in that house tells him what to do and think, it's bullshit. All right, Miranda calls Charlotte in the next scene, okay, about the cunt meme that she did about saying cunt on that broadcast, okay, while she does it while she's taking a shit, because that's what we all want to see. We all want to see Cynthia Nixon taking a shit. I know I do. Okay, I know I do. Okay, because it doesn't affect me anymore. Okay, I already suffer from ED, and I probably will for the rest of my life. Why? Because I saw the first episode of this season. That's why. After that, dude, my dick has stopped working. I can't even jerk off anymore. And that's the truth, okay? It's gone. I'm traumatized. I'm going to need some therapy, some visualization, all that kind of crap, okay, because of this show, okay? So it doesn't even bother me now that Cynthia Nixon's taking a shit while she's talking to Carrie, okay? I'm like immune to it now, okay? There's nothing they can do anymore, all right? So Rock, of course, mentions that she saw the meme of Miranda saying "cunt" over and over again. She thinks it's cool, but she's consumed with her fucking her iPad, and the thing that she's on, the website she's on, called Building Link. That's the website where she can. That's the social media app where she can communicate with everybody in the building. All right. Now Morris wants the cream soda. He says, "Where's my cream soda? It ain't here. How come you don't have any cream soda in here for me, son?" That kind of thing, right? So old Jewish lady, this old Jewish lady named, because everyone in their building is Jewish, all right? Okay, so this old Jewish lady shows up at the door. Morris goes up there to open the door for her. Her name is Madeline Scholl, okay? And she says, "I want my banana," okay? Like a rude bitch that she is, like old lady. And of course, Morris is like, "Oh, who is this attractive young woman here? Morris Chestnut at your service," okay? So actually, it was Harry that answered the door, okay? And she wanted the banana, okay? So Morris, brings her the banana. You get it? Okay? You get the symbolism? You get the subtext here? Morris gives her his banana. Okay, you get it? And yes, this will come up later on, all right? This is how the show works, okay? They just hit you over the face with the subtext. All right? Just like when Carrie's playing with her cat, she's playing with her pussy. Get it? Get it? Okay? That's what the show does all the time. Anyway, so Morris gives her the banana, okay? Even though he's like 95 years old. Anyway, that's going on here. He flirts with her, and then he invites her to dinner. "Do you like brisket?" That kind of thing, right? So now we're at dinner. Dinner with the Goldenblatt family. Okay, and Lily's there. Lily actually compliments her mother. Okay, now she would never compliment her dad, but she does compliment her mother because it's a chick show. Okay, the women get compliments all the fucking time. The men get none. All right, so she compliments her mom on the food. Okay, and Marilyn asks for barbecue sauce, and Charlotte's just like it's a big deal. Like, what the hell? How come you're eating brisket, for Christ's sake? Okay, barbecue sauce goes great with brisket. Okay, like, what the hell? But so she's like, yes, I'll go get it for you. That kind of, she gets up and gets the barbecue sauce. Okay, and then Madeline complains about the ball. "This is the only kind you have?" Like that, all right? Okay, and Morris looks to his right. Now Anthony is sitting right next to Morris, and right to the right of Anthony is Diego. Yeah. I heard a rumor by a producer in Hollywood that, because I'm so friends with people in there, and they told me that someone on this show watched these videos, and they decided they were going to troll me. They were going to teach me a lesson. So they named a character after me, okay? And of course, this guy's gay, okay? So what they're trying to say is that I'm a closeted homosexual myself. And that's the reason I'm complaining about the way the straight men are depicted on this show, okay? That's why I'm doing it, because deep down inside, I'm a closeted homosexual, okay? If that was the case, that'd mean I'm only attracted to straight guys. I think they're saying a lot more about themselves than they are about me, to be honest with you, okay? So this kid's named Diego, and of course he's a fucking fag. Yes, I'm going to say that. Of course he is, okay? I never thought he wasn't. I don't care how much ugly Lily's in love with him. This Lily's supposed to be like 20 years old or something, or she's supposed to be 18 years old, but she's played by a 29-year-old actress. Go figure. Okay, and I don't give a shit. Okay. Lily's butt ugly. Okay, and the fact that she's attracted to a gay guy is just like, it's perfect. It's perfect. When it comes to this show, it's perfect. Okay, every character on the show is attracted to a gay person. All right. So that's going on. Okay, Diego's there. Okay, and so she accidentally spouts out that Diego is her boyfriend without confirming it with him first. They haven't had that conversation yet. And Diego, of course, agrees. They're like, "Well, yeah, you're my girlfriend. Sure. Yeah, why not? I don't see a big dick. The only big dick stud in this place is with this guy, and he's sitting over there. So yeah, you're my girlfriend." That kind of thing, Because yes, Giuseppe is there. Okay, so that's going on. Okay, Morris looks over to his right and says, "What do you do?" Anthony assumes that he's talking to him. So Anthony tells her, "Oh, I run a bakery in New York. I have my own bakery business that I run." And he looks at Anthony, okay, who is clearly gay. Mari Cantone, obviously. But that doesn't mean Morris knows he's gay. Okay? So that's going on here, okay? and he says like, no, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the young man next to you. And Anthony's like, but you were looking at me. Okay. And then Lily speaks for Diego. Of course, all the women speak for the men here. Okay. The men aren't allowed to have their own opinions. Lily says like, he's a ballet dancer. Pop Pop. That's what they call their grandfather, Pop Pop. And Morris says like, yeah, back in my day, boy ballet dancers didn't have girlfriends. They had boyfriends. Okay. And Anthony says like, yeah, they did that back in my day too. Because apparently Anthony's fucked every single gay guy in New York. All right. So Anthony says, so Diego says, I have a boyfriend. Like, it's no big deal. Like, it's like, doesn't every guy have a boyfriend? Even the straight guys have boyfriends. Like, what? What's the big deal? Of course they do. Everyone does. No, they don't. No, Diego, they don't. Okay, and I'm not really talking to him. Okay, I'm talking to the people that wrote this episode. No, they don't. Okay, no. I know that in your I know a lot of gay guys. Okay, and not all of them, but some of them think this. Some of them seem to think that every single man, okay, is secretly gay inside. They're just hiding it, or they're trying to conform to social norms, okay, to cover up their gayness, okay, and it's just not true, okay. I spent my entire life, I have never once been attracted to a man, and that's the honest to God truth, okay. When I first hit puberty, when I first started getting horny and stuff, okay, it was always girls that I was thinking about, okay. Whenever I masturbate, I think about girls. I remember the first woman I ever fell in love with in my entire life, okay, okay, I think I was like maybe 5 years old or something, or maybe 6 years old, okay, was Morgan Fairchild, okay. I remember her because my mom watched like Dynasty and Dallas and Knots Landing, and she was popping up on all those shows back in the day, back in the late 70s, early 80s. She was popping up and everything. And I remember the first time I saw her, and she was in an episode of Spider-Man too, the live action TV show. Yes, there was one back in the 70s with Nicholas Hammond. Okay, she was in one episode of that. And I remember watching that when I was a little kid. She was on a Spider-Man episode. But I remember the first time I saw her, I was fucking in love. Kind of like I said with Ashley Judd. It was like that, but I was a little kid at the time. Okay, I just remember thinking Morgan Fairchild was the most beautiful woman in the whole world. Oh my God. Now, like I said, I was like 5 or 6. I just remember that. Okay. And on a side note, okay, there is a convention coming in town here. Not next month, but in August, there's going to be a convention here where it's a bunch of old TV shows, actors from old TV shows are going to show up. And yes, I am finally going to get to meet Morgan Fairchild for the first time in my life. I'm going to meet her in 2 months. In 2 months, I'm going to meet Morgan Fairchild. I'm going to get my picture taken with her. Ah! Oh my God. You want to talk about a bucket list right there. Yes. Like, I know it has nothing to do with this, but that's the point. Okay. The point is that straight guys are always attracted to girls in the beginning. Always attracted to women. Okay. Always have been. Okay. There's no gay thing in there. Okay. There never was. You see what I mean? That's the difference between gay men and straight men. Anyway, so that's going on here. Of course, he has a boyfriend. Okay. Yeah, of course he does. Anthony, blah, blah. So Lily says, like, Diego is poly. So it's okay to date guys that fuck other guys. Is that what you're saying, Lily? Okay. I guess that would make you very understanding. What do you call a woman who dates guys that fuck men in the ass? Or get fucked by men in the ass? What do you call that, Lily? Okay, because that's what you are. Okay, Rock, of course, because all the women got to speak for him, right? He can't speak for himself. Rock tells Morris that poly means polysexual. Okay, Diego's attracted to multiple partners simultaneously. Okay, then she asked Diego if it was okay to speak for him. Well, you already fucking did, you fucking communist bitch. You already did. You already explained it to the audience. Okay. Because Grandpa's got to get with the modern times. Okay, no, this is not the modern. This has never been the fucking modern times. Okay, this is a bullshit woke libtard bubble that the people that make this show are living in, and they think the whole fucking world needs to be like them, and they're pissed off that we're not. That's what this fucking is. They don't see themselves as, no, you're the fucking weirdos here. They see everybody else as the weirdos. Rose, the good little fucking communist. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something, okay? Only gay guys get respect from women on the show, okay? Only the gay guys get treated like she apologized. She apologized to Diego. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't speak for you, okay? She never would have done that to a straight guy. Never. Only the gay guys get respect on the show. So Morris says like, oh, well, does Polly want some more brisket? Like that, okay? And Harry, of course, is just disgusted. He's disgusted with his life, not with this conversation. He just gets up and leaves the table. All right, moving right along. Next scene, Herbert. Herbert, that's Lisa Todd Wexley's husband, okay? Gay beta. He's basically Harry, but black. All right, and racist, okay? Herbert tells Lisa that he's sleeping in the guest room, okay, because he can't afford to lose any more sleep. His wife, Lisa, has been kaleidoscope Lisa. She dresses like a fucking kaleidoscope. She's been talking in her sleep, keeping him awake. Does she apologize to him for that? No, she does not. It's his fault. It's always going to be his fault, all right? So he tells her he's not going to sleep with her in the bed tonight. He's going to sleep in the guest room, okay, because he cannot take her talking in her sleep anymore. He needs to get to sleep. He's gone 3 nights with very little sleep because of her talking, okay? And he can't afford to lose any more sleep. Lisa promises not to talk in her sleep anymore. She's decided that she is going to hire the big dick 6'4" stud, a Nubian god that walked into her office for a job interview. She's going to hire him. Okay, Jax from Mortal Kombat. All right, the black Jimmy Olsen from Supergirl. Okay, and he walks to her. He walks to her like this, like he's Liz Taylor, right? And he walks right up to her, like the bitch that he is, all right? And tells her, and he threatens her. He's like, if I hear, hey, just one time in the middle of the night, then it is sleep divorce. Exactly like that, okay? That's the man that Lisa's married to, okay? And so what does she do to not let the gay guy divorce her? She decides to splash water on her face in the middle of the night to keep herself awake so that she doesn't talk in her sleep. All right, I'm going to stop my review right here because I've had enough for now, okay? But I'll be back to continue my review of this piece of shit show. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.